podcast, my friend.
Can you hear
Hold
me?
on. Yes, I think my mic is muted. I think I
That
should
was the
go
me-
again. I
that
thought it
was
was
the
muted.
message I got.
By the way, I do apologise. The last podcast we done, it was stuck on your lovely face for 15
Listen,
minutes.
what can I say? But apparently it was not suitable for family viewing.
That's right. In fact, I did get a few complaints through the
Yeah,
but
had to
I
be
just put it.
edited.
I put them next to the door to doors, Brian, in the bin.
There was an accusation that I had done something, but I'm not that technical. But I never
Aye.
got, Cosmopolitan or anybody, FHM, Men's Health magazine,
No, did you not get anything
contacting me,
through?
contacting me to say, listen, you could be the model of the Mr. GQ 2026. Must be stuck in a post.
Yeah, I like that. I think that'd be good for you, Brian. It's January, Brian, right? Well, me and
I'm into
you,
the beanies. I've ditched the baseball hats at the moment. I'm doing the
you get your
beanies.
beanie.
Yeah,
Is it
Christmas time it was all slipper socks and beanie hats.
is it fuck Devano?
No, this is one maybe crocodile. But I've got one of the ones. I got a tall booth bar one of Jackie Boy, and I got usual North Face and all that. But no,
Your name dropping there, label dropping there, Brian.
as they say in China, this is Lacoste.
Laquast.
Lacoste.
As they say in Drumchapel, Lacoste a fortune.
Aye, no,
We're going to talk about right. We've went live, Brian. Right, me and you. It's January, right? Usually January. Chuck out the alcohol. Let's stop drinking. Let's go the whole month.
I know I'm doing
Sober.
dry January, man. It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough, innit? It is. I must admit, I've had a couple of beers. I've had a few Guinness, but I've not been overly consuming of it. You know.
No, I had a talking to you. I had a difficult week. I know you had a challenging week, and I'll tell you.
Aye.
Talking to you before, I was like, I'd just love a couple of pints in the but
Aye.
hey ho, let's
Aye. No, I'm glad. I'm glad we didn't, because usually our Friday night would consist of a wee, sometimes meeting for a couple of Guinness.
yeah.
But I'm glad we're doing this, Brian. So, Brian, we were kind of today. This wasn't on the plans yet again, and I think that's the problem with me now in this. Obviously, I'm doing a wee bit of work in the background, doing a lot of work in the background,
Yeah,
and I've just no
too
time.
much work you're doing. Far
I know,
too much work.
I know, mate, but
Sick
I'm
of
just
telling.
I'm trying to smash it so that I know where I'm going to be, and working hard is. I suppose working hard relates to some of the topics, or the topic. One of the topics we're going to talk about tonight. Me and you are going to talk about self-abandonment,
Yeah,
as well
definitely.
as so many other things as well, right? Self-abandonment. I'll make sure I get that right. Self-abandonment is not trusting your instincts, people pleasing, which I'm guilty of, hiding parts of yourself, perfectionism, self criticism and judgment, not honouring your needs, suppressing your feelings, not acting according to your values, which when I read that, I'm like that could be me, codependent relationships, and not standing up for yourself. That's just a few examples
No,
of
but how many individuals can you think of does that describe? So many.
so many.
Me. I've got. If you done that, see that you done that a point for everyone. You know, you
Aye.
get these staff
Aye.
things. I seen one the other day. I played a. I used to have a Walkman, and I used to have a bloody cassette tape. And did you ever? So it's like all these give yourself one point. And it's I think it's just to show as if you were born in the 70s. I had a Betamax video, all that sort of stuff. If you gave yourself a point for every one of them, I think I would score quite high. And I think a lot of people would. How many people just go with flow? Say, I just go with the flow. You
Aye.
know, because they don't want people just don't want to accept offending people, and they don't want to offend people, which is great, all well and good. But at the same time, a lot of people are very guilty. It adds to people's own mental health problems and stress because they're worrying. It's often if you worry too much about people pleasing and no taking time for yourself, that can be very detrimental. I think I said to you something I heard that was very good. You can't carry a boulder for someone in both your hands when you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So, peace of mind is the John Lennon. I'm always, quoting the Beatles. But somebody asked John Lennon one time if he could have anything in the entire world, what would it be? And he just said, peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Yeah. Self-abandonment. Brian, we just spoke about there, but the points relating to that, right? You could probably hit every one of them, right?
Yeah.
What I just pointed out there was, I think, 1, 2, 3. There's 11 points that I pointed out there, and every single one of them, maybe 10 actually, but out of every one of them, you would tick every box. Not trusting your instincts, for example, right? What do you think they mean by that? And when it comes to self-abandonment, not trusting your own instincts, is that maybe the fact that when it comes to people pleasing, you're not giving your true worth, you're not giving your natural self? How would we walk? How would we look at that?
Right. See, for me, and I think like most things, they all sort of intertwine. See, for me, not trusting your own instincts. See, if you are in a group of people and you, especially if you're young, you're a teenager or whatever, cast all our minds back, and there's a group of people saying, you get that saying, would you throw your mother used to say, your father used to say, see if Paul Quinn threw himself in River Clyde, would you do it? Right?
Yeah,
And sometimes cheekily I'd go, well, if Paul's doing it, I'll do it as well. But you're not trusting your instinct if you say, I'll no take drugs, I'll no take, but yeah, if you follow the crowd, even though you know you're doing something that is not good for you. For
aye,
example, for example, for example, how many times have we not followed our instincts at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and when, right, it's time to go home and go to bed, and then we find ourselves still drinking out in my garden at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're trying to please each other,
yes,
but we're not following our instincts to tell us it's good. But, all joking
that's a
aside,
good shout.
when people's in company or whatever, and people just, want to just agree to disagree, and they can find themselves. That's my take on it anyway. They
Aye,
can they can find themselves. How many times have you been caught as well? Two people are in an argument, right? And you're the individual they come to, the man in the middle.
mm-hmm.
Okay, two friends are having an argument, and you want to play peacekeeper, and you go, oh, by the way, you're dead right, you're spot on. And then you're saying to the other guy, you're no getting your true and honest opinion.
Yeah,
The whole world's getting that at the moment. How many people are, backing Donald Trump, who's just a fascist at the moment, because instinctively they know he's wrong in
yeah,
so many things, ice raids and all the madness, absolute madness. But they've got their own agendas and they don't want to put their hand up. There was a thing that I'm reading a book at the moment, and it was getting asked, why do people not want to stand up to things? Why do people not want to protest? And it was tying in with, how many people are turn a blind eye to the news when they're reading about the horrors being conducted by the Revolutionary Guard in Iran, the genocide in Gaza, and all these different places, because they don't want to get shot. They don't want to get shot down.
yeah.
They don't want to go on a march. They don't want people to express an opinion. That's just no trusting your own instinct, and you can bottle all that up. Whatever it is, Paul. What I'm trying to get across is trust. If you're trusting your instincts, be true to yourself.
Yeah,
Just be true to yourself.
yeah. And obviously, when it comes to self-abandonment, we're not listening to our intuition. We are going with almost for defending ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah,
Constantly defending ourselves to make a point that fucking doesn't matter. Do you know what I
no.
mean? It doesn't
Listen,
matter. It's like,
you are spot on there. Spot on. See the amount of
mm,
shite we worry about that it just does not
aye,
matter. Doesn't matter. And people can get themselves in arguments for things that don't, doesn't matter. It
aye,
really doesn't. And it's at the end of the day, people worrying about, how poor and rotten their football team is at the moment. That's a, geez, oh man, how many people does that actually harm their mental health? That professional football players get paid thousands and thousands of pounds, no giving a fuck. And then if they play poorly, it just it brings yourself down. And you wake up
aye.
in the morning, oh man,
I
see, at the
know,
end of the day, who's died? What does it
I
matter?
know, I
There's
know.
people dying in the world, and people are all worrying about, 22 guys on a football pitch.
Oh, I know, and I think the man with the football, Brian, is me and you have obviously been watching our team not playing as well as we used to have them or winning all the time, right? And sometimes you're like that. For me personally, right, if my team's getting beat, I'm actually like, instead of falling out people, like falling out myself or just being in a bad mood, I'm actually looking for something proactively to do, right? So that I can just, I need to do something. Because see if I get in on the dumps because my team's getting beat,
Mhm.
you take your eye off the ball. Well, without
Hey, hey,
losing the pun there, but
hey.
pardon the pun, but you take your eye off the ball and you just go right downhill, and your mental health is just goes down and down. You actually don't become aware of the fact that you've got control of how you want your situation or any other
Yeah,
situation to be. You're just going along with the flow. You're going along with people, and you're not actually giving it yourself. So you're actually putting, when that happens, you're putting pressure on the other person. And we're talking about if you're in a relationship, for example, right? If
uh-huh.
you're no, if you're going to self-abandonment, right? And I believe, me and you've spoke about it. I believe that I've been using many of these tools. If we're talking about self-abandonment, and I've been putting more pressure on the other person, right? And then before you know it, they'll like that to you, right? What is it you want to do? I'm fine, just whatever you
Mm.
want to do. How much pressure is that putting on them? And then do you know what I mean?
I know. She's through there, but I mean, I like the phrase is I'm but coming into the 25th years of marriage. Happy wife, happy life. Right?
That's
I
true.
whisper that. But you know, I'll be watching the Manchester United game tomorrow. I know doing the pub. I'll be watching it doing Ireland.
Yes.
Because she's already told me that. So
Right, yeah. I've told
it's
you. You did say Saturday was your Ireland day.
that's people pleasing. But
Yeah.
so sometimes you need to do it. I'm I'm not an absolutist. I'm not, I live on by tablets of stone. So you need to be flexible every now and again,
Yeah.
but you also need to take time for yourself, time for each other.
Yeah.
Um,
You've
um,
got to you have to do that. I think
and
so.
you've got to give. I mean, you're just talking about a personal relationship. You need to give each other. Be prepared to do something for each other, but then you need to be prepared to give that person their space or whatever. I mean, I'm talking about football, right? If I watch Celtic match in the telly in here in the house and they're having a badging, right? Some of the games I've had on us, I will really bad, right? Not as bad as my dad. My dad's just mental. But Pamela just cynic, conservatory.
Yeah.
And at first she was like, "Hell, what you all about?" Now she gives me my space just because she knows when she hears me going, fucking it, screaming and shouting. And sometimes she'll go through and she'll go, I tell you, your team's getting beat. No, we're winning 3-0. Um,
which
so she'll
which has
give me
hardly
that.
been said this season.
But, you know, 12, you know, she knows that for 12 hours, 24 hours, I may not be in, in the best of moods. But hey, that goes both ways. Both
Yeah,
ways.
of course.
Because let's be honest, men have a hell of a lot easier than in life than women. You know, women have to go through menstruation, pregnancies,
Oh,
uh, menopause. You know, sorry if I'm offending anybody for the transgender community there. I'm not, but you know, that's just a fact of life that people with a female body have to
yeah.
go through. And saying that, I've had a few sore tattoos. You know what I mean?
Aye, that's self harm, which is another thing that we've spoke
Which is
about.
another topic.
Is another
Which is
topic
a
that
topic, you
we've
know.
spoken about, and we should probably get back to it about self harm as well. The two sides. Here we go. The two sides of self abandonment, Brian. Right.
Yeah.
What people see and what people don't see. Right. So that is okay. I don't care. On the other side of that, pretending we don't care when we do.
Oh, biggie,
Right.
biggie for me.
Just ignore me. Not asking for the support we need. I don't know. I don't make sense. Invalidating our emotional state. And sorry if I'm a lot. And it says apologising for needing support. These things, these
Aye,
things, I'm guilty of.
and
I'm
so
all
ma,
right.
so ma, I'm all right.
Gaffing
By the
guys,
way,
listen.
you're spot on.
Yeah.
How many times? How many times did you say to people in a morning, um, all right, you know, hi Paul, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm all
I'm all
right.
right.
How many people actually stop and go, do you know what? I'm in a fucking cunty mood. My
Aye.
life is at rock bottom. I
Yeah.
feel like shite. How are you?
Yeah.
You know, I all right, mate. Same
Yeah.
old. Same old. Aye, you're spot on there. You're
Well,
spot on.
Brian, we spoke about like the day I was struggling a wee bit, right? And me and you, and I was telling you, you were first person. But I'd phone text Bob as well, and Bob was telling me some stuff, and I text you, and I was like, mate, I'm no feeling really good. I said, you were the first person said, let's go for a walk. You fancy a walk? Now, obviously, yesterday we spoke about it, but the night you said, you fancy a walk? What time do you fancy? I said, I'm finished at all time. We'll go for a walk after that. But we went a wee, what was it, 40-minute walk?
I wasn't much. I was
Wasn't
knackered, to be
much.
honest with you. But we then said we'll do a podcast. So we
Aye, we'll
quickly.
definitely do a podcast anyway. But just getting out, going that walk, and meeting you, going for a blether, fucking getting stuff off my head that's there. You're giving me your point of view for it, and then we're like, do you know what? Let's fucking. I'm feeling good. Let's go and do a
I always
podcast. Let's talk about it.
I always think that I have that effect on people. Like if people are really down, don't feel great, and then they meet me and they think I'm not as bad as that sad bastard.
Brian, that's the reason. You
And that
caught me.
so I do give some sort of service. That's my self worth. That's me that know. But see the one about saying that you don't care.
Aye.
Um, aye. The other week there in work, I can't even remember what it was about. Who cares? Who cares? It's but deep down, I made a mistake in work. I can't remember the whole specific, and I'm like,
Aye.
worst things happen to see, that rubbish.
Aye.
But I was burning inside, absolutely burning. Went home, just worried incessantly, just because you like to do the best job that you can. I mean, that's just natural. But that, and I don't know how many times I've said, especially to people like, one of the good things about getting old, you just don't give a fuck anymore. You just don't care. You do, so you can't say that. but you do, you do.
Oh,
Some people might, genuinely know, but you know, I do, and I think. Uh, Again, I always revert back to David Keenan because when we had David and Joe Curry on the podcast, what do you expect for such a talented man? But I always
aye,
remember him saying one of the most dangerous things is when you're left with your own thoughts,
aye.
and that always stuck with me. And I think that's one as well where see all these self abandonment. Because you'd say that, listen, I think that'll be a good topic to talk about. And you touched on one when we were having a wee discussion on that, and it was um, was that feeling of low self esteem,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right? And I think a lot of people have no idea what the phrase "you can't see the wood for the trees," but no idea what that really actually means. But I think that it actually means about sometimes you don't actually see your own value. You don't see what you're
Yep.
contributing, and then it's.
It's
Thank you to
it's
follow my wonderful life at Christmas, and the guy doesn't want to. Jimmy Stewart doesn't want to live anymore. Wishes he was never born, and then you
aye.
see the impact. You know, I mean, you're going
It's
through it. We had a meet up today, and you know, you're going through some stuff, Paul. But I can tell anybody who watches this, anybody that knows you, or the people I know that know you, is that. And well, I hope you give me some money for this, but their life is enhanced by knowing Paul Quinn. It's just a fucking fact. No,
uh,
that's me being honest. That is me
but
being honest. You
thank
ask
you,
my
mate.
you ask my wife
Check.
Pamela, you ask my boys, Stevie Bennett, Big Bob, all the people that you've helped, all the
I know.
people in your work.
Well,
It's
I think, Brian, I think
but
a wee bit of that is wallowing.
your problem is you try to be all things to all men.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying to you is, I think what I've also done in the past, I'm very guilty of, is you wallow in your own self fucking pity, right?
Yeah.
I greet about shit, and then I'm realizing, hold on a fucking minute, actually, you're fucking right, but this is how it should be. So I'm apart from taking somebody's criticism or speaking to people and taking a fucking taking an earache after them, right? Or they're telling you, no, this is what's fucking happened. You self abandonment is when you got that. It's because I've got to that stage because I've been giving myself too much to people, and I've not been thinking about fucking me, right?
Right?
I've not been thinking about me, and I've been thinking about fucking not taking time for myself, being trying to give too much. Like I will keep repeating this, but self abandonment, fucking, I'm there. I'm taking it right. I'm doing it all the time, and I've not even fucking looked at it. I've not until today. Now,
Yeah.
how many other people do you think is going through that and not realizing what self abandonment is? Right. So if we don't know
But
what self abandonment is,
I maintain, as I said earlier on, if everybody was used to do a wee mark, give yourself a point, how many do you score? I
mm-hmm.
think people would score very, very highly. Everybody's got their own insecurities, everybody's got their trigger issues, everybody, that's, if you can allow me, quote John Lennon again, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Life is hard. Life
Right.
is difficult, and when we're left to our own thoughts, as David Keenan said, sometimes that's when the dark thoughts come in.
Mm-hmm.
The you know, I was just thinking for some reason it popped in my head. Monsters Inc. Wee kids lying in bed at night time and they see monsters coming out the cupboard. That's when the monsters come out your own cupboard
Yeah.
when you start worrying and overly worrying. Overly
Yeah.
worried. Who actually can sit for a minute? I would love to be able to truly meditate. truly meditate. Somebody was brought up a Catholic, and the rosary is meant to be, for meditation.
Yeah.
You try and do that, or you meditate, and I've tried meditation because I thought, oh, it'd be great, and you just hear the wee bell, ding. But I'm too busy. Paul McCartney said that about when he went to India, and they were all trying meditation, and he was there in the room, the Maharishi and stuff, and he was like, I just kept thinking, I wonder what we're going to have to eat. We're just eating lentils here all the time. I'm starving, and he's like, and he just couldn't just keep his mind clear for a second. But he was
Yeah.
meant to go away and just empty your mind. If anybody watching this knows how to meditate, please tell me, man. Love to be able to do it, but I think it's impossible. Everybody has thoughts generated through their mind constantly, and sometimes we overthink, and we are our own self-critic. Is that on there?
Yeah. Well, let me just see. Let's look at again on the list of what we've got. So again, what people see and what people don't see is this always happens. Again, I spoke about it, wallowing in victimhood, which is you're setting yourself up. I must just be too sensitive, invalidating
Right.
ourselves and our feelings, and no big deal. I don't care. Dismissing our needs and feelings. So
By the
all the
way, that's
time.
a big one. See, one time you asked that, um, as I say, that question that you always, I always crosses mind, always comes back to me. The night you asked on a podcast we done, where is your happy place?
Mhm,
And I actually said, oh, my happy place is getting validation from other people.
mhm,
And I was talking from it from being like a communal place, wherever I'm going to play football, going to the pub, social events, and, people coming up and talking to you, and from a good sense. And then the more I dig into it and was thinking about it, and that does not surprise me that it's in there. You're worrying about what other people think about you.
aye.
Um, and when I actually just come back to me again. Fern Cotton, the the girl used to do Top of the Pops and stuff.
Aye. She's still doing. She's on Radio Six, isn't she?
I was watching her podcast, and she was talking about after I think she went through a divorce there, and she went to a therapist, which I would always advocate. I mean, in America, everybody's got a therapist.
Well,
Um,
well, Brian.
uh,
That's what one thing we'll talk about.
so
The
she
needs.
said that her therapist, when she was talking about all the issues she was having, her therapist all of a sudden just said, "Is it important that you like me?" And Fern Cotton was just caught in a hop, just like your question about where's your happy place? And she was like, "Whoa." And then she was going, "Well, yeah, it's, she generally entertain her, but genuinely just in that private room." She was thinking, "Well, yeah, I do want you to like me. And what if I told you I didn't like you?" And she was going, "Well, I wouldn't like that. I mean, I want people to,"
Aye.
and then it suddenly dawned her, does it matter? Does it matter if people don't like you? No,
Yeah.
and then Fern Cotton also said that she told you would have to be insane to think that everybody likes you, right? And that anybody watching this is probably thinking, no many people like you, pal, right? Regarding me, but who cares? Um, um, I think I'm a nice guy. Uh, I'm actually quoting Jerry Adams there. Sorry, a bit controversial, but can get that at the Late Late Show on YouTube. Um, but um, the whole validation thing is, I wish I'd never said that, but that's what I thought. You know, my happy place is if getting other people's approval. I'd love to know where that came from. I really do. I look at my kids do. Jack, his drama, didn't need any self validation. I've never had the guts to do that because I couldn't have handled not the embarrassment, but if people were at my age group, my peer group, what are you doing that for? I just jumped it, Adam running ultra marathon stuff like that. We plug there, if I can. They've started their own running club.
I've
Remember we
seen
had
that. I've
Adam and
seen that.
Ben on the other week.
I've seen that, Brian. What's it called?
Because it's their, back to the name, the Eclipse Running Club.
So it's called
Because
Eclipse.
they've called it Eclipse. Remember the small one for Bishop Briggs?
Ah, aye,
So
aye,
two of
aye.
the people that they've met through the Kaizen stop, they had the first one last week. And I think there was about 30, there's a meeting point in the West End. I think there's about 30 people. No doubt
Wow.
because of the plug
They
we
were
gave them
doing,
on this podcast.
and I think they're doing easier runs. Well, when I
They're
say
di-
easier runs, they're doing 5Ks, a lot of
beginner,
5Ks.
beginner, intermediate, and stuff, and they're
That's
setting
good.
up so just visit, on Instagram and Facebook, all these things. You won't see me there, definitely not.
No,
I can
well,
assure you that, unless they put it down to a 50-yard walk.
well,
Oh,
they
they,
might,
they,
Brian.
they,
I think you could. Well, you play fives, right? All right,
yeah,
you could. There's a K in you. There's 1K in you.
yeah, but everybody would be home by the time I finished.
No, no,
But
no. I think
anyway, getting back to, we've done enough to plug in. Self-validation, we were getting to the counselling side of it,
yeah,
therapy.
yeah. So we're looking at answers, right? We're looking at. Let's start looking at ways to. I've just looking at stuff. How to stop abandoning yourself, right? What would you say that is, Brian? Picking up the phone? Maybe again, that's maybe I don't know if that's the right answer.
I don't know, I
Uh,
think I would need to, first of all, would need to, because I don't want to dive in and say, well, because I've done that before about the validation question, how do you stop abandoning yourself? Um, you have to learn to, I think, be good to yourself. Now, to me, it's no about being selfish at all, because it's no. But you need to take time for yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, good people will always have time for others. I'm very much, we should be mindful of the world around us, especially in the modern world where there's a lot of bad things taking place. I'm really worried about the state of this country. It sluts to the right. That's more in politics. I do not like that. But so I'm all for people being proactive, putting a point of view across. Um, but at the same time, you have to. We all work a 40-hour week, right?
Yeah.
Most of us say, a lot of us anyway, because
Aye.
that's all changing now, isn't it? But so if you work a 40-hour week, and most of work patterns now, it's no longer just Monday to Friday. You need to take time for yourself,
Yeah.
and uh, when you take that time, when you take that time, try not to let it. Try and maybe find things that you're no sitting there worrying about validating, getting validation for other people, no wallowing in self pity, no being self correct. By the way, these are all very easy things to say. We've come
Yeah.
across doing this podcast, some amazing people doing amazing things, and then they tell you, and we've spoke about one of the last episode about all these people who are really successful, achieving so many great things in the world, and yet they had no self worth.
Yeah.
Um, Suicidal awareness, big topic for yourself, Paul. Why
Yeah.
you kicked this off? Some people that we're aware of have taken their own life, and you can't. It's incomprehensible.
Hmm.
But um, when we were discussing all the self-abandonment, you were thinking they must have been some of the people we know who have took their own life. And you're thinking, what was going on? they must have been ticking a few of the boxes,
Aye.
especially that, lack of self-worth.
Yeah.
And I wish I had the solution. All I can do at the moment is talk about it and try and promote discussion and have my own self-awareness that,
Yeah.
when we're talking about it here, I've got, I'm ticking the boxes, so I need to look after myself, and then there's the impact, because I can be a right moody bugger, man. Ask any of my family. So, when I go into a bad mood or stupid things, your battery going dead in your phone, and it's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, fucking right." What effect does that have on the people around about you? But it's
I
just
know.
a vent, it's just a rant, but you know. Um, yeah,
Well, here's recognizing, right, self awareness is what we spoke about, right? So
right.
being very self aware of probably needing somebody to tell you, like some asking somebody like what's happening. Is self abandonment? Do you think I've got it? For example, your closest person, like, yours would obviously be your loving wife, right? You
Yeah.
would ask her, and she would give you an honest answer,
Oh,
right?
she does.
I know she does. I know she does. Uh, so, are we doing affirmations? Are we being compassionate enough to ourselves? Are we? One of the things that I used to always do constantly was I used to do a lot of affirmations. I've not been doing my affirmations.
Yeah.
Right, right. I've been I've been doing a lot of things going forward and trying to help a lot of people in the background, and I'm draining myself. Right, I'm draining myself
Mhm.
constantly. How do we stop doing that? How do we stop draining ourselves? How do we stop
Mhm.
uh, trying to be the person that we naturally are? Right. Take advice. No, I try and take your advice. You know fine well I'm not taking it most times, right? You know fine well I'm not taking the advice. I'm trying to get myself into that place where I can take the advice, but I'm being a wee bit
Because,
selfish and I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm going to keep going forward.
because you, and this is a totally noble thing, Paul. Totally noble thing, and it should only be praised. And that's why
Mm,
already said you enhance people's lives, but you do genuinely want to save the world on your own,
I'm
and
not. But
right.
Brian, that's not true because the whole point of Green Sunrise podcast was to get people around the table, right?
Aye, yeah,
And
but
just to get
you
people
were the
talking.
driver, so you thought I'm going to do this. And listen, I'm not
Aye,
knocking
no,
that.
I know you're
But
definitely not,
fro-
but I'm just
from
saying.
from as well as doing Green Sunrise podcast, you've got that many things on the side as well, where you're trying to, you know, be all things to all men and women,
Mhm.
and then on top of that, time someone reaches out to you, you then spend even further time with them. Um,
Aye.
and unless how much do you pack into your own life is unbelievable. You must
Mhm.
have wanted to be time turner things that for Harry
Well,
Potter.
Brian, I wish I had
Um,
because what I've noticed, what I've been noticing recently, is how quickly it's gone. Right, and I don't know if that's to do with social media. I don't know if it's to do with because we are tuning out and things are just going quick, or is it just the fact that we're just getting old and that's what happens when you get older?
I don't know. I'm actually just
See
um,
the conversations, Brian. See the conversations that you used to listen
uh-huh,
to people, right? And they say, "Oh, it just goes, son,"
aye,
and you're like that. And when you're listening when you're younger, you're like, "They're just fucking old. They don't really know." But now
no,
it's like,
no, it's true.
"Fuck me, man." It's like,
But I mean, you get back um, getting back to yourself and people in that situation. I just think it's so important, Paul, that if you're going to help, if you're going to help others, which is so important, you have to help yourself first of all,
Mhm.
and you have to make sure that you've got peace of mind, and you have to make sure that you're coming at things from a good place.
Yeah.
Or yeah, you're not going to be help to Meissner men. And that's me being honest. The best thing is to try and have the best impact in people's mental health. If you're there to support people, of which you are, is to try and ensure that you're in a place, first of all, be an example, and then say the then give the advice and support. But people that always come to you, yeah, we need to try and find a way where we go,
We've,
how else can it be done? Who else can help me and help them?
we've got a wee guy. We've got a guy. We've got a wee guy. We've got a Busty 1888 has commented, Brian. I don't know if you can see the comments, but it says, "Evening all. Sean here." So Sean Busty. Sean's one of the guys who is he's in the paid subscriptions, Brian, like
All
yourself.
right.
Sean Busty's in there. I get called Moaning Jack. See you next Tuesday most days. I don't know what I see the word.
Aye.
I don't know
Cunt,
what I see
it's
the
my
word.
favourite word.
Cunt, right?
That's my favourite word.
He gets Moaning Jack cunt most days.
Yeah.
Sean, get yourself on. We've got the StreamYard. I've actually put on the comments. If you want to join the conversation, you can join the conversation. Just hit the button if you want to come in. And it'd be
And
great to get you on, Sean.
is that a bad thing? It doesn't sound to me to be a bad thing.
No,
It sounds to me Sean should take it as a positive, because he's making people think about, recognising, he's getting recognition for other people,
yeah.
you know. So yeah, I hope people, and it all depends why the word cunt is my favourite word. Is it all depends on how it's said, you know.
Yeah.
I've heard people say Paul Quinn, he's a right good cunt. Brian Mitchell,
Well,
he's a cunt. I mean, that's the great value of that word,
it's very true.
And I
So,
know a lot of people don't like it, but I love it. So
so
there.
one of the
So I
things
don't,
is
and if you don't like me liking that word, then you're a cunt.
right. One of the things, Brian, develop a routine, integrate self-care practices into your daily life, such as exercise, meditation, which we spoke about,
Yeah.
or relaxation techniques. Do you have any other relaxation techniques that you're allowed to share, Brian?
I do like sleeping.
Sleeping's great. I like that. I don't
I
know.
do like sleeping.
That's gone beyond relaxation, surely. I think.
No, it's that there's people who can power nap. Apparently, the evil woman, it was Margaret Thatcher, used to like a 15-minute power nap, and then that
Yeah.
would set her up. But we were having a conversation one time, and I just mentioned that my late mother, she used to love her bed, right? Really, and she's a hard working woman. She knocked her pan in, but when she went to her bed at 10 o'clock at night, she enjoyed her sleep until like 8 o'clock in the morning. And then it transpired that I must take after my mum's whole side of the family, because the amount of people from that side of the family who were all sitting going like, "Oh, I love my sleep, I love my sleep." And that geese, if when we die, we just go to sleep and never wake up again. That's
And
not bad.
and
Not bad.
same again, guys. If you want to come into the conversation, I know it's late. It's a late line, but me and Brian are here for another couple of minutes anyway, talking about this. Brian, have you got much on this week? What's been happening this week?
Well, unbelievably, as you know, I try my best to play football.
Yeah.
I now play football on Monday, Thursday. I'm starting another tours of football on Tuesday.
This is men versus men versus
Man v
fat.
Fat on a Thursday, which is brilliant. I highly recommend. Look on their website. It creates a great community. It's designed to help people with weight loss and a football thing. really good for people's mental health. Monday's just an average game of five-a-side with people, doing it for a laugh, and it is a good laugh. And then in the Tuesday, this is from people who have all met through the Man v Fat. We met David Adams, known as Smada. He's actually a coach, got coaching badges, so doing a
Right.
bit of pressure play. He's going to do an hour of training, then an hour's game. And then, it's Wednesday, Friday, I've nothing planned because I'm doing this blooming dry January, and then we'll see
Yeah.
what
Well,
next week brings.
Brian, I'm feeling really good about. I mean, I know I've had a couple of Guinness, but I'm feeling really good the fact that I'm not in the pub tonight.
Aye.
And I don't know if it's because it's everybody's talking about the dry January. I've walked by many pubs at the night and it's really, really busy, but I'm actually glad I'm not in there drinking alcohol.
This is a
Ruining
party
my body.
place. This is a party place tonight anyway. Why
Yes.
you doing in the pub? Watch Green Sunrise podcast.
Sean has said his wife and family don't understand that they're all English good. See you next Tuesdays.
All right. There's no many. Sorry if I'm offending. No, definitely. But aye, that's cool. That's cool. It's nice to hear. That is nice to hear.
Good
That is nice to hear. They sound like good people.
Set intentions using journaling is to establish goals for what you want to practice self-acceptance. All right.
Mm. Interesting. You were one for the
Interesting.
You were one for the journal in days gone by, weren't you?
Well, that's one thing that I'm trying to get back into. I've
Aye.
spoke to a few people. I spoke to a lassie the other day, and I was telling her that this is what you should do. Right? She was very. In fact, we're talking about self-abandonment. She would fit into this bill, right? And I remember saying to her, "It's you need to decide. You need to decide on your true self." What I kind of believe it. I actually kind of believe I was speaking to her about this, right? But this came up.
Manifested. You manifested.
Manifestation, and I spoke to her about the manifestation, right? And I'm thinking that's one thing that I've not been back to. I was talking to her about self-journaling, journaling, right? And the fact that it doesn't have to be war and peace. It just has to be you're talking to yourself, and you're the power from ink to paper is is so powerful. And I'm saying that
Mm.
word powerful, right? But it is so powerful because then when you start to write stuff, you start to come up with ideas. So even though you might be writing shite or you think you're writing shite, you're writing about stuff that you don't think would matter. Because when I initially started journaling, right, I'm like,
Yeah.
but if somebody was to read that, I'd be really embarrassed. But then it wasn't about me thinking about them. It was me just putting the shite on paper,
Aye.
right? As soon as you write stuff, it's funny. You start to see the answers, and you start to write the answers. It's almost magic. People talk about writing songs, right?
Yeah.
And or they talk about writing books, for example, right?
Uh,
And the ideas come from somewhere magical. David Keenan, I think, spoke about it when we
yeah.
interviewed him. He said there's a magical place writing. Journaling's amazing. It can. In fact, we're going to talk about therapists, right? And I think we're talking about also in America, right? Everybody's got a therapist.
Yeah. It's just
Everybody. It's one of
part
those
of.
things. It's the norm, right? And I think it's starting to become a wee bit of the norm over here as well. I know a few
Yeah.
people who's got therapists.
I
I
mean,
know.
I can't. I can't. I mean, I've had therapy. I've been in therapy group, especially when I first got epilepsy all the years ago, and I get sent to one, and just to make sure you were okay. And uh, it's really good. I mean, as the advert once said, it's good to talk. Um, it's dear if you're going and doing it privately, but I
Yeah.
think it's a sort of when you're talking about what you're saying about journal. I suppose it's just an audio journal and that.
Yeah,
individual that you're talking to
well,
is you.
podcasting.
Aye,
Fuck. That's
as your sort of diary, as your your journal book, um, and I would the person that I went to was just basically giving it a who, where, what, why,
mhm,
So he wasn't. He never gave any closed answers or a yes or no. Now, don't get me wrong. This was a year ago or something.
mhm.
Um, right, and it was just because it was a NHS standard thing because I had answered something on a sheet that says, how do you feel now you've been diagnosed with epilepsy? And I wrote something like, absolutely, feel like my world's at an end or something, right? But I was just being
Mhm.
sarcastic. And it was like, oh, set off the arms. And so I went along to this thing anyway because I was like, what harm could it do? And it was excellent. It was really, it was just a guy sitting there, just a pad, and how's that make you feel like me? And it was only 2 sessions. And then it was like, nah, um, but I don't know if it was just two. So there's 2 free sessions. So there you go. If you want to pay for some more, and I was like, no. But I definitely saw the value in it. Definitely.
Well, we've spoke about Men Matter Scotland and Andy's Man Club on the
Yeah.
podcast, and we will continue to talk about them, right? Because I've been a part of it and I've been involved with it. One thing that I miss and I don't get enough time for is they've got a class at 11 o'clock every day, right? Or
Mhm.
Monday to Friday, for example. They've got a class at 11 o'clock, or Monday to Thursday. We go wild on a Friday. And then they've got one at 1 o'clock and then one at 6 o'clock, right? And they've always got something really good. And I remember the first one I went to. It was Nelly for 20 Minute Tims that was taking
Right.
it because he works there, right? And I remember got this Nelly's class, and it was just I don't remember exactly what the class was about, but I remember
Mhm.
going, they were just simple questions. And I remember I didn't write it down, and that's probably why I forget stuff, right? I didn't journal it, for example, right?
Mhm.
I came out of the class and I was like, that was fucking great. I want to share that. And I actually think I shared it on my Instagram. Like, I one of the questions or one of the points. I don't know what it was, right? But just the classes, these are free, Brian. I know it's hard to get to,
Yeah.
but this is something that we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to achieve something where we can give something for free and people can just take notes.
That's it.
That's that
And
kind
if they walk away with one thing, that'll do me.
100%.
Because um, I don't. It's one thing discussing this. I don't care if we get three views. One is yours, one is mine, and one is
Yeah.
another individual. Right? Busty 1888. Because if he takes something from it tonight, uh, great. That's
Yeah.
really, really magic. And
Job done.
you know,
Yeah.
and even if it's some just to be proud that he's a Moni, see you next Tuesday. There you go. I said see you next Tuesday. So he has achieved that.
You know where I got that see you next Tuesday for, didn't you, Brian?
A chap called Billy Logan was the first
Billy
time we had it.
Logan.
A
Everybody
lovely
knew it was
chap.
Billy Logan.
Yeah, lovely chap.
Uh,
He
Lovely
never
chat.
liked. He never. Great guy. I loved him dearly. And he liked wearing Crocs. First male I ever saw wearing Crocs.
Did he wear
And
Crocs?
oh, aye. And he hated profanity. He
Oh, I know
hated
he hated
profanity.
profanity, didn't he?
And whenever I was around about him, all I did was use bad language just to purely wind him up.
Aye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. Just so you could hear him say it.
Yep.
Brian, what's planned for the weekend? What's happening? I think you've already
No,
said, didn't you?
uh, Sunday, I think I'll go for I'll try and get a good walk. We've been going to me and Pamela and Charlie the dog have been going out to the reservoir at Mulgai, public park. It's
Murdoch
big,
Park.
isn't it?
Aye.
It's magic. It's a lovely walk there. So if it's a nice day, I might do that.
It's lovely around
Um,
there. It is. I've not been there
Man,
for.
might
I've
do
not
that.
been there.
That's
So
a good wee 5K walk.
there's a story. There's a story about that place for me, right? Uh,
Is it
for
clean? Is it a
it's
clean
very
story?
it's clean. Well, so this takes me right back to the very beginning of Royal Mail, and my 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 beautiful friend Joe Muir, who
All right.
Joe Muir was kind of the first kind of guy I made connections with in Royal Mail.
So is that
Became
where
really
you
good pals.
first dumped the mail?
So I went one time, but no, but that's where we used to go running.
All right.
We used to run around the Maguire Reservoir, and I remember that's a fond memory. That's a fond memory because obviously, not obviously, but Joe's very much part of the reason for this podcast.
Yeah.
The podcast was going, but he made it stronger, not by because of what he'd done. And for anybody, a trigger warning: Joe committed suicide. It's part of the stuff, and I remember when that happened to me. That was like, I, that was like it was a real sore one. I'd never experienced that the way it hit me
Yeah.
when I found out about Joe, right? And just the fact you said Maguire Reservoir there, that just took me to Joe, because Joe was one of the first places he took me running, because he used to take me running. And that's a fond memory. Sorry, bring it down a bit. But that was a fond memory because of the guy who was there. But we lost somebody who used to run with me. And I don't know where I'm going with this. It's a hard one.
No, but again, well, track that back. A great guy. And someone that was having a positive impact in your life had a positive impact in a lot of others.
Aye.
And you know what was his own self abandonment issues that he
Yeah.
probably kept to himself
Yeah. Yeah.
and let
So I,
build up.
yeah. So actually, us just talking even just a wee clip or a wee one line about self abandonment might be.
Aye, because listen, it was when were talking about this tonight, and we started saying, you know, this is what we'll talk about, and you know, you pulled together, you know, a lot of stuff to prepare. And you know, I was like, and the two is, I think you would have said, "That's me, that's me, that's me,"
Aye.
and you know, that's what causes, you know, issues that I've got. That there causes issues that I've got.
Mm.
I a real eye opener. So, I nobody thinks because I automatically was thinking, I know a person like that, I know a person like that. With everybody, if I would be astounded if somebody didn't say they have one aspect of self abandonment.
Mm.
I think the only person in the world that wouldn't have that is, remember in Harry Potter, was it Chamber of Secrets maybe, and he finds the mirror that you can look in, and he sees his parents, he's passed away, and Dumbledore says to him that the only the person that has got the exact perfect life, totally perfect. I'm paraphrasing, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
would
Yeah.
only would only see themselves. Everybody else was seeing what they want to see. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot in that as well. A lot of people
Yeah.
just see what they want to see, and um, everybody, I bet anybody would be, if they stood in front of that mirror, would see something that's in that self abandonment that we've talked tonight alongside them. Um,
Oh.
I dare empty to say that they don't suffer from any of the issues. Dare empty. If they were being
And
honest, if they were being honest with themselves.
yeah, 100%.
Mm.
I think that's a great way to end this podcast episode, Brian. Thank you so much. If
No
there's
bother.
anybody, what I would say, the last wee thing down there is therapy and counselling, talking to a mental health professional who can help you to explore deeper issues related to self-abandonment and offer support. If there is any professional or people who are therapists or counsellors and they want to tag themselves or give us a business that we can go to, or any person that we trust and relate to, please put in a comment. Doesn't matter when it is.
Yeah.
Just put in a comment, and I can actually add it to the description at any point. So if anybody wants to put in the description of this episode, I will definitely do that, and it would be great if we could share somebody out there.
Can I also say before we leave, doing this is great therapy for me.
Yeah.
Really great therapy for me. It always leaves me feeling a bit more positive. I've never not done one of these podcasts and not, it's like
No.
a lot of people might not understand, but Catholics that go to confession, well, you go in, that's, great therapy. You're talking basically to a wee curtain and that's therapy. You come out, you feel great. Right, all right. People that, I understand a lot of people only have had that experience, but that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I feel the same with us. So if you want free therapy, send us a wee message and we'll get you on and see how you feel.
Yes,
it might
and
work.
I think
It might work for you.
Yeah, me and you spoke about this, Brian. Let's get. We've got a few people coming up on the podcast, which we need to be proactive on. But that's my fault because I'm doing
No,
other
but
things.
if we don't get people on, we'll just keep doing it ourselves
Keep
because
doing it, and what I will do is I will share the link live in the comments. If you want to come on, hit the link. Let's get you on. I know it's easier said than done. I know it is easier said than done. And sometimes people fear about the fact that I've not got anything to say. I don't know what to say. Do you know what? Let's try it. It doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere. It might just be a
No.
conversation like we'd have in the fucking street.
Don't self-abandon yourself. Don't care.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're just making your own contribution and don't worry what anybody says. Because I'm trying not to.
No.
I know I will, but I'll try not to. Anyway,
Brian,
good night and God bless to you, Paul,
good night,
and
sir.
whoever your God may be. Please like and subscribe. It
Like
doesn't
and
cost you a
subscribe.
penny. It doesn't cost you a penny.
I'll hold on a minute, but there's another wee comment. I'll just put this last comment. I'm listening to my old boy, so I'll just show this last comment here. I like to listen as I've locked myself away from people. There you go. Even just listening, you're right. If you want
Yeah.
to get just doing that, that's fine as well. Thank you so much, Sean Busty, for commenting 1888. You're a good guy. I can't wait to get you on at some point. And it will be good. Good night, all. We'll finish it with that. Good night, all.
Good night, all. Cheers, Sean. Good night to you, my man.
Good night, mate.
Good night to you all.
Right, that's it.